So I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, so. Anybody know why Matt's not here? Well, that's public comment.
Oh,
I just gave a public comment.
Concerned.
none.
Jeez, tough
I
crowd.
know. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the bills, substitute teacher list, and budget document.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
6-0. All right, program evaluations have none. Superintendent report.
Enrollment report, you can look at it, but it's worthless. So we won't really know exact numbers. What we do is we count numbers, the first two of heads who are actually here. And when we do that, it's substantially less than what our enrollment says. And then by the time next week ends, right about Labor Day, I always want to say Memorial Day, about Labor Day, we actually know what our enrollment is. So this is what we have currently enrolled. Kids in the schools, we're actually about 1270 that we actually had seats in. But that's, remember, that was the first and second day. It went, the first day it was 1242, and the second day it was 1270. So I mean, it's just, they trickle in. It's the way it always
Do you
starts.
remember what it was at the end of last year?
We ended the year at 1290s, no, 1304, 1306,
Okay,
something
said
like that.
13, I thought it was.
Yeah, 1306 I think is what we ended the year at. So this was the exact same way last year. We just had more showing up enrolled last year. I think we had 1340 something showing enrollment, but we didn't really have that much. So, and then I didn't put attendance because it's been 2 days, so I didn't really want to worry about that so much. So this will get better as we go. Cash flow for July, end of the year, the first month. Our final balance of July was $1.26 million with all our Fund 1, Fund 2, 535, Fund 3, 430. That's that number we were talking about a little while ago. That's why we'll be, one of the things we'll be doing. Fund Capital 4, remember we always, that is funded as the year goes on. There's a couple of different ways to do it. One, the way we do it is we let it run in the negative and fund it as we go. Other school districts fund it until it's all spent up and then they don't put any more in it. We just do it the opposite way. There's no one right way to do it. Currently at the end of July, our cash flow was $2.1 million, which is good for us. That's a pretty good start. Total revenues for this month, $812,000. Expenditures, $438,000. So we got about $375,000 reserve to start, and that'll usually July starts us off pretty well, and August that'll get eaten into, if you remember. Revenue and expense. This year's expenses, revenue is up a little bit compared to last year at this time. Expenses are up, and there's a couple reasons for that. But the main reason you're going to see is what we need to compare here is start comparing not last year, but this year, because we gave the raises. So this number will be higher than this number all year long. So just remember that. It's not a shock. We know it's going to be that way. Since the board approved the raises and our expenses will be higher this year. So this number right here, our expenses will be higher most months than they were last year. This is a new one. This one I kind of wanted to do just so you could see where our revenues come from and each year. So really the thing I wanted you to see is the percentages over here. So local revenue, county revenue, state revenue, federal revenue, and I'll update this every month, and these numbers will jump considerably each time. But the reason I wanted to do this is so you know where our revenues come from. And it's always going to be biggest here. Our state revenue is always going to be the biggest. Local revenue should hopefully come out to about $2.5 million. And then federal revenue should come in between $450,000 and $500,000. That's what it's going to be. I can tell you our county revenue is going to be $330,000. We know that. So the one, and then federal. So I just wanted you to see as it goes along percentage. just so you know where it comes from.
Okay.
It's nothing more than that. It's same slide, just a little, breaks it down a little bit more so you actually know our four revenue sources, where they come from. And the county is just railroad, and that's 330,000. We know what that's gonna be.
Can we go back a slide,
Sure.
would you please? Okay, so then in year 17-18,
Mm-hmm.
why is that so much more than last year?
Because we made those reductions in
Staffing.
staff.
Okay, gotcha,
That was the big reduction.
gotcha, okay.
And then, there's also other things involved in that, so maybe we didn't pay as much in fuel, or we didn't do
Right.
those things,
Propane,
so that,
utility,
yeah.
like a few
So
things
this,
like that.
this will be our second year on 4-day week,
Mm-hmm.
Third year.
third year. So that first year then is our first year on 4-day week.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, the big reduction was the staff reduction right there,
Yeah.
so.
okay. Thank you.
Yep, labor cost comparisons, again, remember these, right now, I'm not sure why that's $20,000 less, but you're gonna see this one's gonna be, the green's gonna be above the green over here. This green this year is going to be consistently above that one because of the raises. Does that make sense?
But it's not yet.
Not yet,
Because we haven't paid that.
yeah, we haven't paid the August payroll yet,
Okay.
so. Utilities, it's the exact same number. So.
Okay, this is compared to last year. Do we have a 3-year comparison
On
where
util-
we are on utilities? And I know it's not gonna be a lot, but our 4-day week should have kicked in enough where we should be getting some kind of we should see a trend on utilities. We should be saving some on utilities.
It's more on transportation.
Yeah, we're not gonna say much on utilities, cause the buildings are still, they're still cooled and still heated and those things, so we're
It's
not
more
gonna see much of
Okay.
there's no savings really there.
Okay.
The 4-day week, it was transportation and.
Yeah, I know. I just thought we would see more.
I think we saw more of a difference in when it was really hot, really cold. That one year I know that the heating or whatever we.
Right,
had in
or
electric,
what
yeah.
we paid. Well, that's not gonna be a major one, because we can't turn off all the
No,
utilities,
I
so that's.
understand that.
So I think the thing that's gonna be hard to track on that is wear and tear on equipment. So I mean, we're going to see a savings in repair on, desks, buying new desks in the classrooms and those things, because we are having, it's almost a full,
One
we were
fifth
going
less.
from 174 days down to 150, so that's 24 fewer days actually in the classroom.
Yeah.
But that's difficult to track, so figuring that out, we don't have how much we paid for those and those things, but there will be a savings, it'll just be difficult to track.
Well, like on the trash issue, we should see less trash. I know we're not gonna see it go here though. but
Paying the same amount.
We're paying the same amount.
Yeah.
but
On a
you should
5-year
see,
contract.
That's what I was gonna
we
say.
should see it if you were to look at it, we would see less amount being hauled out, right? Or is that
Well, maybe just because cafeteria?
Yeah.
cafeteria's what I
Yeah,
was thinking?
that's what I was thinking. But I would also think that, because we started cooling the gyms too, so that would have
That's right,
counteracted
that,
with that's a
Yeah.
huge, that is.
it's a big
Oh, I
deal.
hate air conditioning large areas because it costs so much to do it, so. That probably counteracted that first year.
Yeah.
But then the desk and classroom stuff is still getting about the same amount of time, right,
But-
hours? I mean, even though we cut a day back,
Well,
we
I
cut 20
mean,
days back, but the times.
the time should be the same,
You multiply that
but,
by several years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so yeah, hopefully it'll buy us,
Yeah.
they'll last longer, is the hope. But that's difficult to track.
Oh, yeah.
A long term.
Yeah. Other cost centers, capital outlay, we'd already paid a lot more out last year than we have this year out of the budget, so that, again, that one, we're gonna spend 150,000, so that always looks weird. So, transportation supplies, that is because we had 2 buses, 13, what did we spend on the repair for body work on the 2 buses, that's where that came from.
Yeah.
So that looks like we had to buy a new engine or something. No, we had some body work that our in-house guys couldn't do, so we had to send it out. And if we didn't send it out, they wouldn't have been approved
Yeah.
for next year during the
So what was
inspection.
What kind
So
of
we
body
got
work?
we got backed into.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
bus had that one.
We backed into a tree and we hit
Didn't someone hit the bus too?
Yeah, that-
Someone hit
yeah.
a bus.
But their
Yep,
insurance
that
bill
was-
thing.
That insurance
That,
took care of
but
that.
while we were doing
Okay,
that, we
that's
discovered these other things that probably wouldn't get passed. So
okay.
that's why we did. So that's why that's up. And then everything else is about, we spent no money on
The
fuel.
buses went far from.
We'll just,
Not yet.
just look at, so it'll even out next month when we pay for fuel, 2 months fuel out of 1 month is what'll end up happening there.
Transportation labor is gonna be up.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Like a young.
That's the end of my report. Any questions?
They got a raise, so it'll show.
Yeah, and we've got added an extra person there, so
Yeah.
so that, it will do that. But we also, I mean, we've reduced, it's a wash. It will be a little more expensive, but it won't be astronomically. So, any questions or anything?
Operations?
Don't have much for you. Said the custodians did a good job this year. Granby really had to step up with, they were a person short all summer. We was able to get summer help, a little bit of a high school student for a couple hours in a week, and then was able to pull another custodian in here and there. But they did a good job. They got it looking as good as they could. Still, Ron and Roy did a great job. They got some extra things put on them with that weight room, and they did good. And we also had painters. Made some big improvements. I know Granby Triway probably got the bigger touches of it. So I wanted to.
If you haven't been at the high school, they did some splash in the
Yeah,
EN,
they did the-
and did some splash, some cool stuff. And it's something simple and little, but it looks great
Flashes.
In the lobby or?
in the
Yeah,
lobby.
the lobby.
I haven't been up there yet, so that's.
Did you like it?
It's really neat.
I mean, just simple, and that's
Modern.
simple little painting, and it makes it,
Boring when we were.
it gives it a,
Yeah.
a little bit of different thing for the kids to see.
One thing I'm looking into, there's 2 ways to get emergency communications, pretty much through cell service. The government has one, and then the government also has contracted AT&T for another, and I'm looking into those. That might help us with the situation at Triway, if there's ever an emergency, that they could use that system, and I'm calling to see what it's going to entail.
Is it a
One of them's
grant?
gonna have a little cost, no.
Oh, okay.
One of them's a cost, and one of them's not, but the one that's not, we're not sure that it will work. The one that's cost is through AT&T, and it's through Band 14. I guess this is some new technology that they're using, so. The AT&T's also saying they may be able to help our bus radios out with this, so that's something I'm also looking into.
So this is the paid one. And
Yeah,
the other one's not, but
it's a free service, yeah,
But-
yeah. And I say that, I know up front they saying it's free, and then I'm not exactly 100% sure.
it's not, you don't think, you don't trust it or you don't?
I just don't know enough about it
Oh,
yet, Terry.
okay.
So is this looking this year, this month,
I don't-
this?
I don't know.
Okay.
Gotta figure
So we're
it out.
talking
Just giving you a heads up that there may be a change, hopefully
I'm just
improving
looking at something I'm
communications.
looking into there for
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Mainly
Good deal.
cellular communications or through the buses? or-
Both.
Both,
Both, okay.
Because when you get down there, it's dead.
yeah.
At trial, yeah.
Yeah.
For the cell phone, yeah. That's all I've got for you.
Can I bring up a question?
Sure.
Okay, Ron and Roy, are they gonna retire pretty soon? I mean, they've been here a
Won't
while.
break your legs.
No questions from you,
Nothing
so be
personal,
quiet.
Next.
You know, I mean, I just think
Did you
it's
just give
something we
someone an
should
idea?
prepare
This
for.
is being videoed.
Is it?
And they're gonna
No, I
watch it.
mean, James
Ron, I-
retired and,
I asked Ron that last year, and he's still got some years left, he says
He
he's got,
does.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know where he's at. I know he's probably getting where he could.
yeah.
Am I correct?
I think he's getting close, yes. Yeah.
I'm not calling him old, just, I want that on
No,
video.
exactly. I mean, he's just getting to that point that, and so then when we lost Donnie, we brought 2 new people in that didn't know anything about the school. And
It's
so-
a learning curve
Ron got to work
straight
with
up.
Donnie for a while.
For a little while there,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. And so I'm just concerned about that learning curve,
Yeah.
and about that process. I mean, out at the Crowder, we have three maintenance guys, and they know everything out there, and they could all, one Frank can be there a while, but a couple of them could leave pretty soon. And they have this vast knowledge that they're not training anybody.
Well, hopefully they'll give us a heads up so that we'll be able to bring someone in to be able to.
And in the scenario, we'll still have, when, I'm thinking when Ron leaves, we'll probably still have to work for a while.
Okay.
So I don't.
You don't think
we
they're both
I
gonna leave
hope
at
we don't
once?
have to go at the same time.
Well, that's what, I'm hoping too, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be, so
Yeah.
I'm sure you thought about it.
We still call Donnie from time to time.
And I figured you did, yeah, well.
I haven't called him in a while, but yeah, it doesn't hurt my feelings to call him.
Exactly. I understand.
Do you remember this, Donnie?
Yeah.
He
Probably,
probably-
yeah.
He probably
he
does.
probably does.
Okay, that's all. It's, I know you probably thought about it, so.
You can't talk anymore.
Okay.
You've been banned from talking.
Okay.
And the awnings, when are they gonna go in over there?
Trying to wait until we get this all done and give it a little time, so.
Okey dokey. Any other questions? Then we're on to curriculum and
Construction.
instruction report.
I don't have too much either. We've got our MAP scores have come, MAP and EOC scores have come in. They're embargoed until, well, the end of this month. So next board meeting, I'll have those out to you. We have had some good trends. You noticed a shift from our below basic scores up to basic, so that's been a good trend to see. Fifth and sixth grade teachers have gone through some professional development training for that USA test prep that was purchased for them for assessment purposes for them. That's a spot where we've seen at both Granby and Triway where we've, kind of plateaued out and not seeing as good of scores in some of our spots, so we purchased that for them. So they've gone through some professional development training for that. They'll start using that. And I'm looking into a different dyslexia screener that's free and it's online and it's supposedly simpler. So I'm looking into that for K through 3. It's supposed
It's backwards, right?
yeah, so 3 through K. So I'm looking into that. It's called Shaywitz dyslexia screener, so I'm looking into that as well.
Is that more of like a preliminary?
That's all it is. It's just, it's not, it does not diagnose. It just says, there's the possibility you're having reading difficulties in these areas.
Okay.
So hopefully do it a little bit faster than our DRA that the teachers do for each student. They have to touch each individual student. You can do it in mass with this. Just bring them onto a computer lab and have them do it. And it's free.
Any questions? Thank you, guys. Now we're on to old business, the tire bid.
I think I sent those to you.
Yeah, I got them here. Who's gonna present that to us?
No, it was just given
Oh,
to me, that's why I
okay.
gave you that.
Number one is they are
They all kinda look
recommended number one.
Okay, they all look kind of the same.
Yeah, I think it's a $3 difference.
Who
Is
we
it?
had in the past?
Then, T&W.
Are they, who's in our, is anybody in our district?
I don't believe so, huh?
So recommendation is?
Recommendation is number one.
Yeah, you beat them on the retread by $3, huh?
Yep.
No issues that you know of? Okay.
No, familiarity, they've done. No.
Need a motion to approve the tire bid for number one, T&W Tire.
I'll make it, oh, you make it, okay,
You second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
6-0. All right, we're on to new business, the tax rate. We already talked about. So I need a motion to approve it, right?
So moved.
No, you got it.
Sorry.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
6-0. Policies and procedures, 19B, first reading. You tell us about it, Dr. Mitchell?
Mr. Charlton's going to.
All right.
I gave everybody a synopsis. And I mean, I can go through them all if you want. The biggest one that probably just has to be reworded is DH. We called Music, who is our insurance provider. Our insurance provider, they recommended we change some language in there. So I put that on there. It's a little hard to read. So this is what the policy would actually look like if you want to pass that around. That's what it would look like. Basically, it's just saying Music, you don't have to approve the bond for the treasurer because Music automatically does it through our insurance. So you guys don't have to do that. It's automatic through them. We thought at first that Karen wasn't bonded, but then we found out Music does it all the time, so it did expire.
Do we need action on these?
Well, we can, it's a first reading, but we can do the action if we want. We
I
don't
mean,
have,
we really need to if everybody's in agreement, because September 1st, these go into effect.
Oh,
They,
Well,
yeah, they don't give us much time, but, you know, if we don't want to, we don't have to.
I make a motion.
okay. Do we have a second?
I'll say.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I,
6-0. Took care of that, didn't we? Now, facility directories, faculty directories, sorry.
That's just to approve to do these again like we do every year with everybody's phone numbers and stuff in case they need to call somebody after hours.
And everybody likes it.
Everybody likes
Yeah,
it,
love it.
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're nice to have when
Go
they're
on
at home
calendars.
and needing to call somebody.
Then who's gonna motion then?
I'll make a motion.
Alright.
Second.
All in favor? 6-0.
I tried for it, man, I'm trying. You had to be quick on
Resolution for the
Oh,
pre-bond,
wait, you skipped one.
just skip
Number
one.
4.
tuition. I was
Oh, yeah,
remembering
tuition
tuition
rate.
because we jacked that up.
2019 and 2020 tuition rate.
That just matches what the state funds us. I just recommend to you whatever the projected SAT for each year, it's 63.75, so that's my recommendation.
I'll make a motion, we adopted whatever we need to do.
The tuition rate.
Approve the action.
Did you second it, Chuck?
Yes, I did.
All right.
All right.
I was waiting for him to
I did not
finish.
hear that.
You didn't hear that?
He was thinking it to you.
Everyone
I heard
it. Gosh, Tammy.
All in favor to approve the tuition rate? 6-0.
Tammy, I did.
Okay, now a resolution for the bond prepayment that we talked about earlier.
So moved.
No,
There you go, that's fast.
I gotta do
Come on,
say so
man.
moved, and I'm Chuck.
I mean, I'm Chuck, I'm
I'll
sorry.
second. Is that what you did?
Yeah, so you did.
Go Chuck. You're gonna get the next one, man, I feel it.
All in favor? 6-0 again.
You will have to sign some papers before you get out of here, Mr. President.
I will. Budget revision.
I've got the numbers up there for you. Our current revenue projection is 13.5 million, and our 13.513, and our current expenditure projection is 13.569 for a deficit of about $55,000. I'll stay on top of that, try and reduce that as the year goes on. So that's currently where we're sitting.
But that's spending everything that you budgeted out. That's
Right,
what you said before,
that's
right?
with the raises and everything, so,
See, and last year we had 40,000 extra.
yeah. Now, we actually ended with $87,000
80,000
extra.
extra, so
So
not,
that's still, we won't, our
2-year would be still.
yeah, our 2-year, we'll still be, if it comes out, we'll still be about $30,000 ahead of where we were a year ago,
If that holds true.
if that holds
Yeah.
true. If it holds true, I'll do my best.
Make a motion.
Second.
Good job.
Go Chuck.
All in favor of approving the budget revision? 6-0.
That is it.
Now I need a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go in closed session.
I second.
Good job.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
6-0.
This will be really, really quick. We just need you
Maybe.
We
to,
had to turn it
no,
off.
should be.
We need to turn this off?
Yeah.
You took
It's not a vote.
Probably is gonna be a major
Hold on,
issue
I haven't got this
for
turned off yet.
for